Hey. Okay, so today Xenoblade X had actually gotten a pretty huge update. So I wanted to cover all of the patch notes, and some of these actually might benefit a lot of you. Now, starting off, I'm going to be reading the patch notes on my phone. For whatever reason, a lot of them are abbreviated, like on desktop. So they're a lot more detailed on mobile, so I'm gonna just read them from there. Starting off, we have fixed an issue in Kazuna Quest, The Wings a Girl completed, where the software would sometimes crash during a doll flight. I think that's what the first, that's when you first get the flight module in that quest, and when you're flying up to the FN site, the game will crash for some people. So I guess that was fixed. Fixed an issue where the host player's position and appearance would sometimes not be displayed while joining a squad mission. Fixed an issue where the destination sign would not display during materials search / squad missions. Fixed an issue where sound effects were being played in mono in some movies. Fixed an issue where data could be corrupted when changing rental blades and characters as a member. That must be scary, bro, having your whole save file corrupted over doing nothing wrong. And they added underneath that, if your data is already corrupted, applying this update will fix it. So if your save file did get fucked, it's not completely over. Fixed an issue where data could be corrupted when saving at the same time as hiring or returning a rental blade, and same as the previous one, if it's already corrupted, applying this update will fix it. Fixed an issue where field BGM would start over again after the battle ended, and this one's the biggest one because having like the area theme restart every single time you defeat an enemy is pretty annoying, so it'll just continue to play through. This is the best one, at least for me. Fix an issue where the name of the nullified debuff would not be displayed when using soul voice to inflict a debuff on an enemy that has debuff immunity. So I'm assuming it would say that the debuff like didn't land or was like immune if you try to use a debuff on a debuff immune enemy. Fix an issue where some logs were not displayed while in OC gear. I'm not sure what OC gear is. Later on it kind of implies that it's overdrive, so it may be overdrive, or that may be fashion gear. I'm not really sure. Mind you, this is all being translated. The official like English patch notes aren't out yet, so this is all translated Japanese, so it's obviously not going to be perfect. Fixed an issue in the normal quest Spirit Napon, where the spirit Napupon, I don't even know. Fixed an issue in the normal quest Spirit Napupon, where the Spirit Napupon avatar would not appear during the movie. Fix an issue where characters could be controlled on the black screen after completing the second half of chapter 13. I haven't even heard about that. What does that even mean? Fix an issue where the effects of the device gear counter green and gear counter blue were not being added together. Again, I think that's like green and blue arts in overdrive. I think gear is referring to overdrive. Fix an issue where doll models were showing broken parts. Does this mean like if an appendage on your skull gets broken, it won't show that it's broken anymore? If so, that's kind of lame and just breaks immersion a bit. Fix an issue where the port side of the man on ship would close if an autosave was loaded after the port side had opened. Fix an issue where English text was displayed in some places when the language setting was German. Fixed an issue where the Japanese voice for Eleonora would be played when the language setting was English, French, Italian, German, or Spanish. Fixed an issue where activating OC gear when the effect of the gear count plus device was 3 digits or more would display 00. So I'm assuming this, when you activate overdrive and have overdrive count up with 3 digits or more, it will display 0. I'm not, something to do with overdrive and overdrive count up and maybe augments. I'm not too sure what that's about. Fix an issue in multi-missions or squad missions where body parts would respawn when getting on or off a doll. See, this could actually be kind of helpful though, because say if you're like playing with a squad and someone accidentally breaks an appendage and you know need the appendage for core crusher, you can just get in the skull and it regenerates the appendage. That's really like the only time I can see where this would be a plus. But I doubt that was happening all that often and anybody really even knew about that. Fixed an issue where the game would crash if a character was added to the party immediately after a rental blade returned. That's weird. Fix an issue where question mark was displayed in the fashion equipment list. Okay, so I'm assuming like when you go through the fashion gear, it just shows a bunch of question marks for the armor you haven't gotten yet. Maybe it shows the armor there now and then just grayed out like it did in the original game. Or was it even in the original? I don't know, but it'd be nice to know what you're actually missing now. Fixed an issue where doll weapons would multiply when performing affiliation enhancements in specific steps. Fixed an issue where slot openings were not reflected correctly while performing certain steps at L's shop. Fixed some text errors, and additionally we have fixed some issues to make the game more enjoyable. Now we have some new features and changes. These are different from the patch notes apparently. Added tips that are displayed when you open related tips on some menu screens, such as the class change screen. In squad missions, icons for buffs and debuffs will now be displayed. So apparently buff and debuff icons weren't displayed before. That's kind of like a huge deal because a lot of builds rely on debuffs or buffs. The simple quest mission cooperation request has 2 quests, and it was difficult to distinguish between them, so the quest name has been changed. And as of now, that's all of the patch notes. That was quite a hefty list of them going through a whole lot of things. This isn't really too hopeful for the leaderboard. They haven't mentioned anything about the leaderboard, so maybe the hackers are still up on the leaderboard. Maybe, hopefully they'll fix that in another patch, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that's about it. See you next mission and play some goddamn Xenoblade.